T.O. The Phans look real, you know it's a deal. There's blood, sweat, and tears all up in his huddle with water to cook up a meal. My coaching into it, the combo was chill. Play action to chase, got hunger to feel. The cheetah is loose, he's going for blood. The end of the race only went for the kill. Miami, the city, the county, the block. We steady impact, tail dead in the lot. Defense was strong and hard as a rock. Holland's a lock, and next one's a spot. Getting too hot, so turn up the fan. You look to the crowd, see Jimmy and Bam. Martin, Joe, and SoSo the mans. Your fellas, roll the clip, OnlyFans.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to OnlyFans, a Dolphins post-game show presented by SportsWithSoSo. I'm your host, Joel, aka the Delusional Dolphin, and with me is my cast, my ensemble that I need to have with me to discuss all things Dolphins and help me get through our struggles, which this game was a struggle. I got SoSo with me, the host of SportsWithSoSo. So, what's going on, kid?
What's up, brother? It definitely wasn't pretty.
Definitely was not, my man. We're gonna get into all that, and we also got Martin from Tune Out. Martin, how you doing, bro? You're on mute, Martin. Don't forget.
Good. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Good. Obviously, I enjoyed the game. So let's just say that.
Wow, you enjoyed a loss.
Look at that.
What's up with that, bro?
You know, when they start piling up, you gotta enjoy something.
So right. So you're right.
Oh man, boys, this is back-to-back weeks. I mean, right before this show, Martin, you were talking about, man, it feels like we haven't done this show in over 2 weeks or about 2 weeks, and it's because it's been about that. The last time the Dolphins played was against the Cincinnati Bengals, that Thursday night game, right, where we lost our quarterback, and now we go on the road and we fall to the Jets, our division rival Jets. And not in pretty fashion either. What was our final score here? It was 40 to 17. Yeah, not a great performance. But we were without a lot of our cast. That's going to be the topic around this version of OnlyFans Week 5. Number one, flat out, we're missing Tua Tagovailoa, our quarterback, QB1, right?
That's fair.
He was not in the game, even though they're saying the scans and everything came back positive. They had already made a decision to sit him out, and Teddy was going to be our quarterback going into this game. First play of the game, Teddy Bridgewater, play action fake. Sauce Gardner comes off of the edge on a blitz. Teddy doesn't recognize it, and he gets rocked in the end zone. Intentional grounding gets called, a safety gets called, the Jets are up to start, and then Teddy goes to the blue tent, something none of us wanted to see. Ends up being ruled out for the rest of the game with a concussion, and we saw the debut of the rookie, Skylar Thompson. What are your guys' thoughts around that first play where we didn't run the ball, we decided to pass it, Teddy got blown up, and ultimately made him exit the game? So we'll start with you.
For me, it just shows you where McDaniel's inexperience as a head coach is at times, right? We're starting our first drive inside our own 5-yard line. We need to get something going here. We need to show some type of commitment to the running game. And what we ultimately end up doing is doing that type of play-action play. Why would a team bite on that if they know they're trying to put some type of pressure on us to start the game? I don't feel like that's the right type of play call. And we saw a couple of play calls after Teddy went out and Skylar came in that were just kind of questionable. It didn't look like we had an offensive rhythm going, which is weird to say with the great day that Mostert had for us.
Yeah, especially to see what he would go on to do, right? I mean, Raheem Mostert had probably his best day as a Dolphin. He had 18 carries, 113 yards rushing, a touchdown. He almost had a second touchdown, or a receiving touchdown that ended up getting called back. He was down inside the one, but hell of a day for Raheem. He started the game. He outright was the number one performer from the backfield perspective. So that was good. It's just, to your point, it just sucks that we had to get not even our starting quarterback, our backup starting quarterback out of the game for us to finally start running the damn ball. Martin, talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
Again, I keep saying it every week. I feel like I'm literally a jukebox just broken. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. It's just like, what else do you want? You want your whole, you want to be out 3 quarterbacks, but before you're like, hey, I think we should start running the ball because we have no other choice. Yeah, Mostert got going. He had 78 yards, I think, in the first half. Ended with 113 or something you said. Right. A couple catches, a touchdown. He's literally showing you, hey, coach, I can do it. Just give me the damn opportunity.
I mean, bro, we know that he can be that type of running back too, right? We just need to see some type of consistency and a commitment to the running game to allow himself and Chase to get some type of rhythm. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Chase has been the more disappointing of the two lately. He's been dropping a lot of passes lately. He dropped another two today. It's like, man, can we really rely on him to be in the backfield for X amount of plays, especially when we have a guy like Skylar in there? Mosa really played amazing today. I'm agreeing with you, Joel. Probably his best game as a Dolphin. Hopefully, not for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we're seeing that connection that him and McDaniels had. We're seeing his ability, his speed. I mean, bro, I don't think I saw him rush for anything less than 4 yards. I think every single time he got the ball and ran it up the gut, it was 4 or 5 yards. And if he was breaking around the corner, that speed just let him take off and catch the first down. So great performance from him. We can go in and talk about how much money we wasted on Chase Edmonds, having a guy like Myles Gaskin who pretty much plays the same role, if not better, and has done it for the Dolphins for the last few years. That might be something we save for the podcast, where we're going to end up doing obviously a little bit more Dolphins talk and a little bit of the preview for next week's game. So make sure to check that out. Drop it on Tuesday morning. But let's get back to the game. So this was kind of another tale of two halves here, guys, right? Because this first half, Teddy goes down. We start establishing the run game. The Jets have their run game, man. They got a beast in Breece Hall, and obviously, Michael Carter, he's a touchdown vulture, but hey, they got a nice 1-2 punch back there that, we kind of weren't giving them enough credit. I wasn't giving them enough credit because they're the Jets, and the Jets, SUCK, suck. Not in this game, though. They actually played really well. It's interesting now because after this week, and we're the only team in our division that lost this week. Every other team in our division won this week. And now we went from being number one in our division to, well, we have a loss now against the Jets. We have another loss against the Bengals. Now we're 3-2. We're tied with those Jets for second place. And and the Patriots are knocking on the door too.
Back-to-back losses is what most concerns me. We had enough time in this week to kind of really put a game plan together, kind of clean up any other mistakes that we were showing in those previous games, and head into this game with a full steam of confidence and momentum. Did not see that from the get-go, and I think obviously the quarterback going down changes a lot because
100%.
we probably had a lot riding on Teddy, but defensively,
everything. No, not a lot. So
not
everything. You're
because
talking about the planning going into the week, bro. And when Tua goes out, the game script is going to be now modified for Teddy. And again, we're missing on defense. We're missing our main guy in Xavier Howard. Byron Jones still isn't back. We got rookies playing, trying to step up now. The defenses are staple. And today, frankly, it wasn't there. And then on the offensive side, when you have the game script going around Teddy Bridgewater and he goes out the first game, and then a few minutes later, guess what? Our number one offensive tackle goes down too, and we have the rookie out there. It's like, dude, now we're really just scrambling to stay afloat here. You know what I mean?
I could just listen to Joel the rest of the time. Please say everything you're saying. I was gonna say, so please just continue.
you guys gotta realize that you have to execute. And if all of that stuff happens, the thing that we're relying on the most on this team is the defense. And the defense was not up to par today. Not up to par. There's no way you give up 21 points in the fourth quarter and say, hey, this defense played well today. There's no way we can say that. And that's not just a rag on the defense. That's everybody. Nobody really executed today outside of Moser. Nobody. Not Hill, not Waddle, not the offensive line. Nobody. The only one who can hold their head today is Moser. Nobody on the defense can hold their head up.
Go ahead, Martin. I'll let you take this. I think we might have lost Martin there for a second, actually. But no, man, I'm gonna disagree. I think that Tyreek did a lot of good things. I think Tyreek did as much as he could. I think that Skylar Thompson, being his first game, he did as much as he could as well, man. And it really, it came down. It was a full team. You can't blame just one unit, one person. It was an all around just underwhelming performance, especially having 10 days off. You know what I mean? You would expect a little bit more going into a division game against the Jets, but it's tough, man. It's tough when you're missing all of these pieces. You're missing your 1 and 2 QB, your 1 and 2 tackles on the offensive line, your 1 and 2 guys on defense. I mean, you're missing a lot of key players, man. But even with that, the Dolphins, yeah, even with that, the Dolphins managed to Let me see if we got Martin back here yet.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I'm here.
My whole thing is this, right? My whole thing is this. If we know that the defense is the best part of this team, right? Even with Tua here, if the defense is the best part of this team, then we expect some type of consistency from them. Right
All
now,
right, okay.
we're ranked last, dead last in pass attempts, passing yardage, all types of things, and we're good against the run. Why? Because teams are deciding not to run against us, and when they have, they're successful. We almost gave up 100 yards to a running back today, a total of 135 yards, where they were able to dominate time of possession and again just be on the field and look better when it comes to killing the clock. We
If your team's not gelling as a whole, it's gonna mess up the flow of the game. That's what we're not understanding. Whatever. If Tua's QB1, that's fair. He knows the playbook. He's the one that's supposed to be the best at processing, moving the ball. That's fine. Now you're going to QB2, which he gets hurt right away. Then
Right.
you're going to Skylar Thompson, which again, he didn't play well. I'm not. Although I did want him to play. You're not expecting a rookie to come in. Hey, and get this game going back to where want to be. It's
Not
gonna
a,
mess up the whole defense for you because they're on the field more than they're supposed to be. At the same time, again,
I
there's
get
too
that.
much.
But one thing I'll say just to wrap it up and throw it to Joel, like we saw a commitment to the run. And I feel like that was the game plan, whether Teddy was in or Skyler was in. We saw it, and Mosa was effective.
Mm-mm. I don't think that was the game plan.
It wasn't. And again, we got, it's the Mike Tyson quote. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And we got punched in the face on our first opening drive. And now that plan went out the window and it was a matter of scrambling. And credit to Mike McDaniels, man, because there were some play calls there that I really did like, man. I really did like what he was doing to try to manage the game and get other players involved and kind of some of the trickery that he was, doing. Even that touchdown that we had, that second touchdown that we had right before the first half came to a close, which, Skylar Thompson was faking. He was like, like looking at the sidelines and stuff. And then all of a sudden the tight end came up, hiked it, and just, it was like one of those like Travis Kelce trick plays, you know what I mean? Your typical Andy Reid trick plays. Real nice play. We go into the half down 19-17, man. This was a game. This was a game going into the half. And then we come out of the half, and that's when the wheels just fall off, man. We could not get anything going. They were just relentless running the ball again, doing whatever they wanted. Zach Wilson, he didn't have the greatest performance, but he did enough to get his team the W against us today, man.
I want to ask you guys, you guys are defending the defense here. Should we or should we not be concerned with the lack of turnovers that we're seeing on this team? We got off to a little hot start with the fumbles and the fumble recoveries and stuff like that, but it's been a couple of weeks now, 2 weeks, back-to-back games, back-to-back losses, where we don't see turnovers and we don't win that battle and we end up losing the game.
If you're saying anything, it's that we're not tackling. That's what. If anything, I'm looking at defense. They're like, there's nobody tackling past the front line. Those DBs are not putting anybody down.
Linebackers,
that's my only thing. But turnovers, I really wouldn't be worried about. I think if we literally tackle better, which I don't know what it's going to take for that to happen, because at this point it's kind of weird for me to be saying this. But yeah,
here's one thing that I got to point out. Obviously the health. We need our players to be healthy and play. Right, that's number one. But the defense. I think the defense. We talk about them every week. We know exactly what we're going to get with them. But one of the problems that they had today on defense, man, was not being disciplined. Besides the tackling, obviously there was a lot of broken tackles. These guys were just kind of on tackling, letting guys just get away from them. But man, just so undisciplined. We had 11 penalties for 102 yards given up. I mean, that's not Dolphins, from the first 4 weeks, man, where we've been relatively disciplined. We've had a couple stupid calls here and there, right. But in this game we had, we had not just on the defensive side, the offensive side of the ball, we were, penalized. Our starting left tackle, Teron Armstead, when he was in the game, got called for a hold on a big play. That got brought back. That's stuff that we can't have from our veteran guys, man, if we're trying to win games, especially when we're down all these other guys that are, essential to the game, the game script. So we got to tighten that up, next week if we're gonna hope to bounce back.
Listen, regardless of who's playing quarterback for us next week, the defense needs to improve. And, I'm going to stand on that. Right now, Dolphins defense is 25th in the NFL in yards per game allowed, 28th in passing yards per game allowed, 29th in points per game allowed. I get it. We have a lot of injuries out there, but we should be better than that. That's bottom of the barrel stuff. You know what I mean? And there's enough talent on that defense to not be bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, but I feel like again, yards are one thing, points are another. I feel like we've been in most games. Fourth quarter looks. If you look at the fourth quarter only, yeah, you're gonna say the defense sucked. But if you look in the first three quarters, you're gonna be like, damn, they kept you in the game, even with your rookie quarterback not being what you wanted him to be in his first start or first appearance.
My whole thing is not being about that bend but don't break the whole year. There has to be a time where we can
When we're healthy.
well, well, how when is that gonna be? Are we gonna
Yeah.
wait 8 weeks for us to be healthy to get that type of performance from the defense? Hell no. By then we're out of the playoffs. Sorry, bro. There's been too much invested on this defense. Way
Yeah.
too much,
Not
in my
really.
opinion.
Not
Hell yeah,
really.
man.
The offense is
Listen,
the
we
one that has
paid
gotten the
X,
money.
we paid Byron. Both of those guys are hurt. Now they're coming back.
That's
We
it.
have no linebackers. We invested on that D line, which have been okay, right? The defensive line has been playing well, but as a unit, the defense is not holding its own at all.
Well, Dolphins lost back-to-back weeks. We go against the Vikings this weekend coming up at home. Gentlemen, is this time to panic for the Dolphins?
No, not yet.
I mean, I think we were getting close to worst case scenario, right? Because we definitely want to get one of these next two games before we look ahead in the schedule. Playing at home, I'm expecting for us to play better, but I don't know, Martin. What type of performance do you see us getting at home next week against a good, potent offense in Minnesota?
They have Kirk Cousins. All I'm saying.
They
What
also
I'm
have
expect.
Justin Jefferson.
Nah, Kirk Cousins. That's fine with me. But what I was gonna say, at the end of the day, a lot of people said those first 3 weeks our record wouldn't have been what it was. So maybe it's a wash, and you end up 3-3, maybe. And again, I'm not saying that that scares them because the rest of our schedule, supposedly according to the experts, is one of the easiest schedules the rest of the way. So maybe that buys us time to get Tua back in healthy, or maybe clean it up with either Bridgewater or Thompson. Who knows?
Yeah, I think we need Tua. I think we need Tua back, and I think we need Xavier back, and everything else is going to go back to what we want it to be, hopefully. But besides that, gentlemen, any other final thoughts on this Dolphins loss to the Jets before we get to our 3 and out?
We finally fucking ran the ball. That's it.
You know what? I'm gonna echo that, bro. Thank God we got a running game going because it's really gonna bode well for us in these next 2 weeks.
All I'm gonna say is, Jets fans, don't worry, you got to see us again. So we're
In
gonna
our
come back.
house.
That's right. We're gonna
In
come
our
back
house.
stronger. So with that, so go ahead and take us to our 3 and out.
Absolutely, brother. It's time for our only fans 3 and out, presented to you by Empire Boutique. Make sure you guys follow them on Instagram, where I get the drip from. You know, I get the retro stuff there, the vintage, and we're gonna bring you our most underwhelming performance of the game, our bruh moment of the game, and our aqua and orange lining of the game. And we're gonna start with Martin. Martin, what was your underwhelming performance of tonight?
Anyone that was trying to tackle. That is my underwhelming performance. No one knew how to. I've seen Pee Wee tackle better.
Good call, Joel. What you got, brother?
My underwhelming performance was Teddy Bridgewater, because I was really excited to see Teddy Bridgewater, and man, he didn't even get to perform. Really, that was as underwhelming as it gets. So
that is pretty underwhelming as it gets, man.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna don't hate me, guys, but it's gonna be Javon Holland, bro. 3 tackles, 2 solo tackles. I was kind of expecting a little bit more from him in the backfield. You know, kind of taking that extra load.
Sure.
Didn't happen for my dog today, but hopefully he gets the chance to bounce back against a really good offensive player next week.
Oh, yeah.
Joel, what was your bro moment of the game?
My bro moment of the game was Tyreek Hill trying to take down 375-pound defensive lineman Quinnen Williams after he forced a fumble on Skylar Thompson and recovered it. Was running, tumbling down to the end zone, and Tyreek tried to make a tackle and just got completely stiff-armed to the ground. So I was like, bruh, like, what are you doing? You're the smallest guy out there. Let somebody else tackle him.
Gotta know better. What about you, Martin?
For me, McDaniel's 3rd and 10 call before Sanders missed field goal. I
Oof.
feel like you could have made a little better play call there to maybe get some more yards and set up a better situation for Sanders.
Absolutely, man. I'm also going to kind of stick to McDaniel, but more on that first throw that he had Skylar do. throwing a deep pass for Skylar's first throw or second throw of the game. That's not what I wanted to see. I want to see ease the kid into it. It worked out ultimately because we got a defensive pass interference on it, but man, suspect play calling to say the least. And for the aqua and orange lining, I'm gonna kick it off with Raheem Mostert, man. Raheem the Dream. You know, he balled out, 18 carries, 113 yards with a touchdown, really showing that he wants that number one spot, deserving of more carries, and hopefully he can kill it moving forward, man. Mario, who you got, brother?
I don't even want to say the run game, but because that's all I talk about. I feel like, for me, I'm gonna go with the D line. I saw a lot of pressure on the Jets O line the whole game in at least the first 3 quarters. I felt like Wilson looked rattled. Although they got 19 points in those 3 quarters, I feel like the run game is what got them going, and it was more towards the end of the third, the start of the fourth. They were already tired, so I feel like that's what I like to see because we didn't get any pressure the last couple games.
Good call, man. Joel, what do you got?
My aqua and orange lining is that it's still early in the season. It's week 5. We're 3-2. We're still above 500. And again, according to experts, which we are not, we have one of the easier schedules in the NFL. Take that with a grain of salt.
How dare you?
Take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, that's my aqua and orange lining, man, is the fact that it's still early in the season and it's good. Yeah. You know, I think that, you know, it's important to lose these types of games, you know, early on. You know, I think that if you're going to lose them, it's better to lose them early on. That way you can bounce back, you can learn, you can grow from them, you know, not just for the players, for the coaches as well. And then also for us, the only fans. So yes, that's my aqua and orange lining. Gentlemen, this has been a pleasure. Hopefully the next time we get together, we're back to our winning ways and we get to talk about the victory that we're going to have against the Vikings. Again, if you're looking for the pregame or the preview for that game, make sure to check out Sports with Soso. We're going to be dropping that on Tuesday. And make sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you're not already doing that. Make sure to follow Martin at Tune Out Martin on Instagram, and obviously Soso at Sports with Soso. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
White, orange, and teal, the physical real, you know what's the deal. There's blood, sweat, and tears all up in his huddle with water to cook up a meal. My coaching in 2 with the combo was chill. Play action to chase, got hunger to feel. The cheetah is loose, he's going for blood. The end of the red zone, he went for the kill. Miami, the city, the county, the block. We steady unpacked till getting the lot. Defense was strong and hard as a rock. Holland's a lock, and next one's a spot. Getting too hot, so turn up the fan. You look to the crowd, see Jimmy and Bam. Martin, Joe, and Sosa the mans. Your fellas, roll the clip, only fans.